Hi everyone, Big Pauly back for a short little Blu-ray review or 4K review. I'd like to talk a little bit about 1971's Clockwork Orange, directed by Stanley Kubrick and starring Malcolm Mcdowell. I got a chance to watch it for the first time a couple of days ago, and my thoughts don't really mirror a lot of other people's. So I'd like to talk about it just for a little while. Okay, so I don't actually own this film. I had to stream it in 4K from iTunes. There is a 4K release that came out this week. I wasn't sure whether or not I wanted to pick it up without seeing the film, because to be perfectly honest, I'm not a big Stanley Kubrick fan. Yes, I like Full Metal Jacket and The Shining. I did once watch Eyes Wide Shut, but it really didn't do anything for me, and I just felt bored. I think I lasted about half an hour. So, yeah, it wasn't really for me. It wasn't really for me. But A Clockwork Orange is considered a classic by a lot of people and film critics and peers. And it's just one of those big classic films from years gone by. I remember Mama Bowman always telling me this film was really weird. So I take it she must have watched it, hopefully, all the way through. So I put this on. I really don't know what to make. It's violent. It's very violent. There's multiple rape scenes. There's gang banging rape scenes. There's murder, which is the concept of the story, really, because it's about this guy, Malcolm Mcdowell, and a group of others that in a kind of like dystopian future, it's chaotic, and they just go around beating the crap out of people, and violence is their way of life. So the main story is that Malcolm McDowell's character Alex kills a woman with a giant cock, which was actually funny, and gets sent to prison, and he can get an early release if he goes through this new kind of like scientific program that tries to get rid of the violence in you and turn you back to proper society. So you're an upstanding citizen. So he decides to go, through this. One of the most disturbing scenes, not the rape, not the violence, but him watching these videos with his eyes wide open, and this bloke just dropping little drops in his eyes. And I don't know how he did that. That must have been the most uncomfortable bit of acting, to maintain your decorum and acting, but because that's dangerous. I mean, his eyelids were all pinned, one false move and shit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what would have happened there. Now, of course, this film has its own style. It has its own music. The one thing that I didn't really like in the film was the constant use of Beethoven blaring out. But it's part of the story because it's what this character really likes. But I feel it's a bit overkill with the amount of classical Beethoven that they used. The dialogue was very old-fashioned, I'm going up the apples and pears. Yes, sir. No, sir. Very kind of like 40s, proper English type of dialogue. And the clothing was weird. They were all dressed, these guys, these vicious guys that started beating up people and that, they were all dressed in white. Their underpants were being worn over the top of their trousers, and they were all wearing bowler hats. It's a bit of a weird a weird outfit. I suppose it was kind of stylistic for the time, and it's kind of, I suppose, iconic, because, you know, there's no other film where someone is dressed like that. I did watch the film all the way through, right to the end. There was a few bits of dialogue that were funny. I also noticed Darth Vader was in there as well. Dave Prowse. It's just the way that a lot of the actors came across was really weird. I guess because it's Stanley Kubrick, and it's kind of it's not your average director. It's kind of a weird. I don't know how to explain it. It was an okay film. Whether or not multiple viewings or future viewings will change my opinion on it, but it's kind of a one-time watch for me. It's not the first thing that I would take off the shelf to watch. And if you do like it, you know, if you consider it a classic, then that's brilliant. You know, film is subjective. We all like different films. Believe it or not, there must be somebody out there that absolutely adores Cats. And also 50 Shades. But yeah, it really just wasn't me, and kind of left me a little bit disappointed because it had been built up so much to be this iconic cult classic. But I didn't really see it that way. Maybe it's just the way that I was brought up with films, or the films that I've been brought up on. You know, I've been brought up on blockbusters and Steven Spielberg. And I don't tend to go that much for weird films or indie type of films, that sort of thing. But it is what it is. I watched it. I didn't like it as much as a lot of people, but that's all I can say. So I'll end my review there. I have given it a rating. A lot of you may not agree with my rating. I've given it 4 out of 10. I know a lot of you will probably give it 9 or 10 out of 10, you know, masterpiece. But that's not how I see it for me personally. So I'm going to give it 4 out of 10. Whether or not that score changes in the future with another viewing, who knows? Who knows? Only time will tell. Films grow on you. You have a change of perspective. You understand film differently in years to come. So who knows? But anyway, I hope you enjoyed my review of A Clockwork Orange, starring Malcolm McDowell and directed by Stanley Kubrick. Came out in the year that I was born, 1971. So we're both old. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.